Okay, so it's August 2021, first day of it as well. And that means we've got a new hero of the month. And I'm about to butcher his name. And that is Chakkoszrot. Chakkoszrot. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, first impressions, artwork is freaking awesome. It's one of the best artworks they've done in a long time. The detail on that is great. I love it actually. That is one hell of an artwork. Love to get this hero just for that, really, at this point. Anyway, we're here to look at the ability of the hero. And I think he's got some use to him. He's a bit niche, but I think a lot of the most recent ones have been, actually. I think Divana was pretty niche in some ways. Of course, she was very good. And Elradir, probably even more niche than that, but he was also got upside to him as well. Especially considering that he's one of the few nature heroes that's average and hits 3. There aren't many of those. Anyway, let's have a look at Chakkoszrot. So, let's have a look at the special to begin with. So, first things first, deals 235% damage to all enemies. Pretty sure that's on point with Quintus, actually. Costume Quintus. Who I do have and have been using quite effectively. Yeah, look, 235% damage. Of course, he's got 9 emblems and a higher attack, and I'm pretty certain his attack, so I can find out like this. His attack stat is higher anyway, so 788 attack. So it is higher, but he's got less defense. Quite a lot less, actually. Yeah, a lot less defense. So it's balanced out, really, on that front for Chakkoszrot. So yeah, 780 defense, which is probably a bit more helpful to him, considering he's slow. I mean, Quintus you can actually just wreck with on offense. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like slow heroes, but I personally don't have too much of a problem with them, because most of them have strong specials, so on that front, it means that you probably supplement the slow speed heroes with other fast heroes and average speed heroes, perhaps. I mean, I know that one of the best synergies I've got at the moment with my dark heroes. Well, I've got a lot of them, to be honest, because that's my weakest colour by a wide margin, is Kunchin and Costume Quintus. They synergize very well, and Chakkoszrot would do the same with Kunchin. I don't think you could use the 3 of them together, but depending on 3 slow heroes to get the work completely done, it's probably a bit too much, I would say. So that's not to say it couldn't happen, it's just that in the game with odds like this, and the chance that you take, it's not necessarily going to set you up for the most favourable situations. So, 235% damage to all enemies, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's not the highest by quite a bit. There are others out there that can do, well, between 250 to 290. Even, is it Bobo does 320, but I mean, Bobo and the event heroes in general that they've released this year have been very special indeed. No, that's right. Then, all enemies with dispellable mana generation buffs get minus 54% mana generation for 4 turns. That effect can't be cleansed, so really we're looking here against heroes like Odin, I think, predominantly, and Sif, I would say. I think that's what you would mostly be thinking of using this hero against. I'm sure there are others as well. Yeah, mana generation buff, specifically, it's quite niche on that front, but it's a strong element to a special if you are facing those heroes, because giving a minus 54% mana generation for any length of time is going to be very useful against some heroes. So I think Odin and Sif, and I'm sure there are probably others I can think of, like Kagan as well. God, I just can't. I'm blanking on any of the others. I don't think there are many in Valhalla, not that I can think of. I can't think of any. You can, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't think of any in here. So it does appear to be just Odin, because look, Yeah, mana generation. Yeah. Odin. Ooh, her as well, actually, Brynhild. Of course, I think Brynhild will just get wrecked by his attack. Her defense stat isn't very good. Not Fenrir, get away. Yeah, Sif as well. I just don't see it, to be honest. I don't think there are many others. I mean, this is the hero that I was thinking of when I first saw it. Because she does pretty much two things the same in many ways. Makes 3 heroes immune to new buffs, 3 turns, which is 1 turn less. And also lowers the mana generation of 3 heroes for 3 turns by 64%, which is definitely a little bit more, 10% more, which can make the whole difference sometimes. So yeah, I think that's it really on that front. Sure, there's probably some costumes and other things I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but that is about it that I can think of. But anyway, it's good that it can't be cleansed, because that is one element that was could have been quite the negative on him if it was cleansable, but it's not. So, on that respect, it means, say, on a scenario I can think of, you're going against Odin. He's going to go off before Chakkoszrot mostly all the time, I would say. Unless you get exceptionally lucky. Especially considering Odin's mostly going to be on the flank for the most part, depending on what sort of formation you're fighting. I mean, let's just talk specifically about war, because that's something most of us can relate to. So he's probably going to be on the flank for the most part. In that respect. So, when he goes off, I think one tactic you could use with Chakkoszrot on that respect would be try and get your matches, or as many as possible, before Odin goes off. Of course, this is all just in theory, because the reality can be so much different. So you want to get his mana, I suppose, almost full, or full, and then you want to probably get rid of as many holy tiles on the board as possible, and perhaps even use an attack and defense down hero like, I don't know, I suppose Costume Kirill, or God, why am I blanking on all these things? I'm just trying to think of any other hero that has attack down. Anyway, forget about that. Just a hero that's got attack down, and then that would certainly nullify Odin's ability to deal damage. So in that respect, you can then take the hit, especially if you've got a hero that can give you defense up at the same time, because that would be even more valuable as well. Attack up and attack down, and defense up and defense down are the 4 best things in the game, in my opinion. Include in elemental defense down as well in that respect. So you do that, then when Odin's got all the buffs for his team, you then use the Chakkoszrot special. And they get that minus 54% mana generation for 4 turns on all of them, which can't be cleansed, and they become immune to new buffs for 4 turns, which is cleansable. I mean, that's actually not too bad, really, if I think about that too much. Because a lot of heroes give buffs before they cleanse. The only exception to that is, obviously, Professor Leidenbrock, who cleanses then gives the buffs. And in that respect, she is a very special hero in that front. But not all of them, the others heroes do, and you've got to be pretty lucky to get her. Because Chakkoszrot is going to be a bit more attainable for a lot of us players than her. Because you get the 1.3% chance to get him. As you can see here, look. Anyway, that's not what I'm doing. And then the element link gives 10% increase for any healing received to all dark enemies for 4 turns. Can't be dispelled. I mean, on the surface of it, it's not very good, is it? But should I say it's not going to blow you away, but I think it could become very clutch in some situations. Especially when you're take a pounding and then you've only got like 200 health left on some heroes, and then you get the heal off and you get that 10% extra healing. It can stack up. I mean, that's the thing with Triton as well, I've noticed, because he gives a 39% increase in healing, which is huge much more than this. I'd like to see another hero that actually does that in like a 5-star situation. Would be good to see. But I mean, when you pair up Triton with Bold Tusk, I mean, this is just vanilla Bold Tusk, for example, then he heals a lot more than just his standard variation without a healing bonus. I do find that combination to be really good, because sometimes I find the attack boost is awesome on Bold Tusk, but the healing isn't. But those two together do work exceptionally well. I mean, stat-wise, we've got 745 attack, which is pretty average for a lot of Hero of the Months now. 780 defense, which is pretty good, I must say. That's getting up there for some defensive capabilities. Health isn't huge, but this seems to be a fairly common situation as well with these Heroes of the Month, sitting between 1300 and 1400 health for the most part. He's also the Druid class, which is a pretty good one, actually, but he's not going to get the full benefit of the whole talent tree because he's slow speed. If he was average speed and gave him that 20th mana node, you could get away with him charging at a functionally fast speed with a level 11 mana troop, which is something I did with Asterius, and for a long time it worked really well. Only these days I don't really bother with Asterius having that mana troop because I'm just using Kagan, Falcon and Asterius, or what's her name? Lady Loki. Because that mana boost with the level 11 mana troop on Kagan makes him charging 8.7 tiles, which means I can just wreck teams even faster. Anyway, that's completely different. So yeah, I mean, the Druid class is pretty good on that front. If I have I get it, mate. You want me to spend money, yeah? If you look at the talent grid on a Druid, you get a good amount of attack and defense nodes, which is the route I went with, Asterius, and he is very beefy. Not much attack, not much health isn't huge or anything to write home about. The attack and defense are great. Huge stats on there. So you get that 4% mana generation. So you get a lot of these attack and defense nodes pretty much on every single tree almost. So I think, if I was going to Emblem Chakkoszrot, I would probably do the same as I did with Asterius and just get that attack and defense boosting up. I mean, the health aspect, it will go up a bit here and there, but it's not a huge concern. Mostly when I use heroes like this, I look to increase the attack and defense, so my tile damage is higher when I'm stacking, as well as increasing their longevity. And also, if I get any defense buffs or attack buffs, that also helps. So, let's have a look at some of the other passives. Just going to have a quick sip of tea. Nice. Okay, so the first passive he's got here. Mana buff per status ailment. Okay. So he gets 24% mana generation for 3 turns when the hero receives a status effect. So, I haven't done any calculations for this. But, I would think the 24% plus, say, 4% down the mana tree would be on the cusp of functionally fast speed, I think. I mean, I know my Kagan has 33% generation with the level 11 mana troop, and his mana buff, which is also 24%, which does get him charging at fast speed. 24% plus 4 is 28, obviously. But I'm not sure whether that will work. Hang on, I'll just do a quick check. Okay, so I just did a quick check on that, and it does in fact get him charging at fucking hell, that'd be something, wouldn't it? At fast speed, so yeah. So that actually would work. So you could do that. I mean, I don't know whether you would need to, perhaps. It depends, of course, on your troops and all that sort of thing. But I don't think that's a bad ailment at all. A bad passive to have at all. In fact, I think it's probably quite good. Resist direct mana reduction, even better, to be honest. I mean, The only other hero that I can think of off the top of my head is Seshat that does that. And that's going to make Chakkoszrot even better, because he won't ever have a mana cut, and it will mean that you will always only need that set number of tiles to get his special off, unless of course he gets stopped with, unless your mana generation just gets completely stopped. But overall, what do I think? I think he's pretty good. I mean, he is niche, but then the past couple of heroes have been of the Hero of the Month. The artwork is great. Be interesting to see how much sort of damage he actually does with 235%. I think it's going to be... I think we'll be looking about 350 to 400, depending on who you're attacking. Of course, that's without any like attack buff or defense down. I don't think he's bad. I mean, there are other heroes I would certainly consider leveling above him if I had them. But at the same time, I think he's got some potential there. Overall, I think it always just depends on your roster. I mean, if you just look at why I've got Dark Wise, I've literally just got Kuntrin and Quintus, who are my 5 stars max. Got Sartana sitting to just ascend. I mean, look at these bloody tabards. Christ. Yeah, I'll be ascending her later. But anyway, I think it just depends what you get. Like, I've only got Season 1 and 1 costume and Kuntrin. So for me, I probably would have maxed him if I got him. This is before I had Sartana and Quintus, though. But yeah, overall, I think he's okay. So, I don't think there's anything to be too disheartened about if you get him. I mean, obviously, you don't have to bloody level them up if you don't want to at the end of the day, but it's always interesting because you've got to put it into perspective of what you have as opposed to what you think is the best choice. Because if I was just sat around with just Kuntrin max, and I was like, I've got Quintus costume, and I've got Domitia, and I've got Sartana, but why do I want to level those when there are better ones out there? It's like, nah, I can't really do that, because A, it doesn't help me in terms of like war and tournaments and what sort of thing. You've just got to think about what you can make the most out of, and that's the same with any of it, really. But yeah, that's a long way to say Chakkoszrot is actually pretty good, but also you just need to think about what you need from your roster, how you like to play as well. So yeah, I think he's alright. I'd like to know what you guys think. Take care for the next